Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name's Zeb. Glad you stopped by. So we're back out here in the well house today. We haven't been out here in a long time. So here at the new farm or homestead, whatever you want to call it, we have a bored well. It's 24 inches in diameter and it's cased in concrete. It's a shallow well. And before we moved in, I actually rappelled down into the well all the way to the bottom and cleaned the bottom of the well out. And I found all kind of stuff in the bottom of the well. You would really be surprised what all I found down there, but I'll leave a link to that video right up here. So I'm very glad that we have a well here on the farm. It's a little bit more involved than what we had at the last farm, which was city water, but I'm very glad we have a well here. So the well here is only 20 feet deep. It's very shallow, so there's a lot of surface water in the well. It doesn't go through bedrock and get filtered as good as, you know, your deep bored wells do. Since it's so shallow, we had a lot of bacteria in it. I got the water tested before we moved in. Had E. coli, total chloroform, and a couple other different bacteria in there when we had it tested. So we implemented a few different strategies to get rid of that, and two of them being, we got some sediment filters in here. This is just a screen wire filter that separates all your big sand and stuff like that. We have a 5-micron string filter in here that gets rid of all your, you know, small stuff, smaller than you can see with your human eye. But the most important thing that we got is a UV filter, and this kills all the bacteria 100%. As long as you have filtration ahead of the UV filter, so that some of that little bacteria can't hide behind, you know, some sediment or something that's in here. This UV filter is 100% going to kill all the bacteria. And I highly recommend, if you have a well at your farm or your homestead or wherever you are, get that water tested, and if it has bacteria in it, put in one of these. This is the cheapest option to be 100% guaranteed that there's no bacteria in your water. There's a bulb in here, a UV bulb inside, that's guaranteed to kill 100% for, I think it's like 370 days. So it's the time of year we have to change this bulb out. We've been here just over a year, and the little module up here, I've got it cut off right now because it beeps at me. But the little module up here just ran out and told us it was time to change our bulb. So today is the day that we get to change out all these filters, and I'm going to be showing you how to change out this UV bulb. It's a certain wavelength that targets the microbacteria that's in this water. And we're also going to be changing out this 5-micron filter, and I'm actually going to be putting in a 1-micron filter. So one time in the past, when it rained really hard for a long time, the water kind of got a little bit dingy. So I'm going to put in a different style filter here, and then we're also going to be cleaning the mesh on this screen filter. All right, so to start off with, I'm going to turn the water supply off coming out of the pressure tank. And then I also have a shut off right here because the house is so far uphill. When I go to take off one of these filters, all the water from the house is going to siphon back down through here. So I've got just this area right here behind me isolated from the well and from the house so that I can change these filters. We'll bleed the pressure off, which there isn't much. Get these cleaned out. So this is called a spin down filter. If you don't have one of these for your wells, I highly recommend it, because you can take this when this is, you know, operating normally, open this valve under full pressure, and the water spins and drains out through a hose, and it pretty much cleans this filter by itself, except for just some, you know, very small sand and sediment, which you can just wash it out in a bucket of water or something like I'm fixing to do. Just got a clean bucket of water, and we're just going to rinse this out really good. Try to get it cleaned up as good as possible. Alright, so since we just washed this one out, go ahead and just stick it back in. Get our little drain hose plug back in. And it just drains out to a little port down here that I put in, just a little PVC pipe through the block wall. Now this one is going to be a little bit difficult. There we go. I really hope I don't get water everywhere. Oh yeah. So I grew up on well water, and we never had any kind of filters on our water growing up, but you can obviously tell that this is doing some work. So I'm really glad that we got one of these put in. So that's what the old one looks like, and that's after a year. That's been in just over a year, and that's what it used to look like. So it's definitely doing its job. I would much rather take, 1, 2, even 3 or 4 days a year to have to do some upkeep on my well in order to not drink the nasty city water. Because even if you go buy bottled water, you're still getting, processed water. And this way, we know that there's not any harmful chemicals or any additives or anything like that for flavoring, or we know what we're drinking. Now I haven't ever changed one of these, but I've seen some other people do it and it doesn't look that difficult. So we're going to give it a try here. Unplug this. Looks like there's some kind of electrical cap here. So this is the UV bulb. And it sits inside of a crystal tube that's in there that allows this ultraviolet light to pass through. But that way there's no water that actually gets on this bulb. The bulb comes wrapped up in some packing paper. And there's 2 O-rings in here for some reason. So it looks like those O-rings are for the crystal tube when you have to change the crystal tube out. But you only have to do that about every 2 to 3 years. The bulb is supposed to change out once a year. Alright, so the timer says 369 days, so just over a year we'll have to change this bulb out again. I went ahead and bought 2, so I've got a spare one here, and the place I get these from are over an hour away, so I went ahead and bought 2. That way, in case something happened with this one, I would have a spare. But we've got one for next year, so we're good for up to 2 years. And I bought some more string filters as well. That way I didn't have to go up there in 6 months and change those, because that last one I left in there, it was so brown, I left in there for a year, and it's really not good to do that. You should change them out at least every 6 months, probably every 3 months or so. So I got 2 extras of those, extra one of these, so we should be good for at least 2 years. Alright, well there we have it, about 10 minutes worth of work. We're all back up and good to go on our water here at the farm. I really hope that I have encouraged you to maybe check up on your water system at your house. Even if you're on city water, I would check on it. There's a lot of stuff that you don't know that goes on behind the scenes. So really check up on your water. Get you some filters. Definitely recommend a UV filter. This is not a sponsored video. I bought this with my own money. I'm just really happy with the product, so trying to pass it along to everybody else. Really hope you learned something in this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Appreciate you watching, and we will see you in the next one.